regards to, so all of those other meetings were special meetings because we changed locations or whatever, instead of regular meetings?
Yes. Yes, December 7th was because of location, 14th was a special meeting, and the 28th was a special meeting, because those were not previously scheduled.
Okay, so on this agenda, December 7th is listed as a regular board meeting, so that probably needs to be changed, right?
Oh, and I don't
Oh,
think-
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything else on minutes? All right.
Okay, we'll jump right in with the activity fund financials on page 7. That's just the summary for the month. And you can see the ending balance is $447,945.94. So we're doing good, paid a little over $300,000 in invoices in December. And then the next pages, let's see, 8 through 13 are the year-to-date summary reports with encumbrances. And then by our mistake, you have an extra report after that, that's the same year-to-date summary. And so 14 through 19 is just the same thing without the encumbrances listed for all of the activity funds. So, any questions on any of that? Okay, on page 20 starts the general fund. Now, start at the top. Under district taxes, we are actually down almost 45,000. Of course, interest is still down a little over 5,500. And then the next three, the reimbursement, other local and general fund revenue, all together are down $40,000. That's because we didn't do foundation grants this year. So that check that we usually get that's about 40,000 goes in those categories. And then child nutrition is of course down because we don't have the local money coming in like normal, so it's down 64,000. So that brings the total district revenue down, or collections down 156,000. And then under intermediate, county formula is down 35,000. We did receive 37,000 in December. So you can see that's almost the entire amount we've collected for the year, so it is increasing, so hopefully that'll continue to increase and we'll catch up. And mortgage tax is up 16,000, so intermediate overall is down 18,000. And then under state gross production, we're down 2,600. Motor vehicle is up 91,000, which again is because they're not taking that extra payment out from the lawsuit. School land is up 17,000. Foundation and incentive is down 67,000. Alt ed is up the 3791.92 we've collected, and then reading sufficiency is up 15,000, and textbooks is up 44,000 because they made the one payment this year instead of breaking it out. So overall, the state collections are up 10,590 compared to last year. On page 21 is the federal. That first federal collection is what we brought in from last year, so that hasn't changed. The MHF amount is up 19,000 from last month, which was a September claim that we received. And then child nutrition is up 213,000 compared to last year. So all that money that we're losing in the local, we're picking up on the federal side since everyone has free meals right now. So that total is at 191,000 under the federal compared to last year, which brings our grand total revenue up 27,000 from where we were last year at this time. Any questions on any of that?
So on fund balance, so our fund balance is currently at 2.8, is that right?
That was the fund balance we carried in.
We carried in.
From last year. Mm-hmm. So that cash balance down there is what you want to be looking at.
Okay.
And where are we at on percentage of spend today?
On page 23 is the function summary. So we are currently between encumbered and spent, we're at 83.8%. Last year at this time, we were at 86.17%. So we're under 2.37% than where we were last year at this time for spending. Okay, so back on page 22, the encumbrances for board approval, there's not very many of them. I'll just point out a couple, PO 445 and 446. Those are repairs due to the ice storm damage. So we've had a total of $21,317.70 that we have done in repairs for ice storm damage. The insurance deductible was $2,500, so I don't have the final word back from them if they're covering everything. If they do, we'll get $18,817 back. Any questions on any of those other encumbrances? Okay. So we kind of already went over page 23, so we will skip to 24. This is the function summary for the building fund. There's been no activity from last month, so everything has stayed consistent. Page 25 is the bond fund. We paid out $72,557, so it just moved from encumbered to spent, so the balance is still the same. Now the money is, the bond funds are all at Bank First now. So the process on that is when work is done, we actually send invoices to the bank and they process the payments. So this $104,000 that's encumbered is to Troy, and we can probably close that out at this time because everything else from him will get paid through the bank. And then this would be anything left over at the end of the bond that we have here, we could spend on the extra furniture, fixtures, that kind of stuff that we need. Page 26 is the function summary for the sinking fund. We actually deposited $80,304 in ad valorem tax. So that balance went up by that amount compared to last month. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
We're still on track for everything for May, starting breaking ground and all that for May. Are we still good for that? Coming up?
Yes, I'll be here before we know it.
Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, let's have a motion on the consent agenda. Move approval item 3A through C.
Second.
Roll call vote. Marquez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
Pettit?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Okay, item number 4, staff reports.
Matthew, do you mind sharing some of the information we talked today about RTI?
Sure. Yeah, so
With the group?
the first, on my report, first topic, each year, the State Department, they give us a compliance and performance review. And so there's over 15 indicators that they look at. And so that first bullet that I have on my report just kind of talks about what they identified as we are a low-risk school environment, LEA. But there are a few, and we had this conversation probably maybe 2 months ago, some of the things that we were sending to the State Department for early childhood outcomes and some of those things. And so we're still in the process of working through that, specifically with the response to intervention. That is kind of a framework or a model that we've had in place here at Bethany Public Schools for a number of years. We've shared with you that we're planning on sending a number of people to a virtual workshop, seminar in regards to RTI. Obviously, we know that we have new people that come into the environment, and so I know Mr. Eichelberger has attended that, and so we're excited about sending people to that. Administrators are going to be attending. So that is, again, that's a model that at every site, when teachers identify students that may have some gaps and may be struggling, it is a process that they work through as a team to identify, are there some things, some interventions that we can put in place to help them make progress prior to getting to the IEP stage. And so We've also identified, we've talked about the behavioral specialist that we brought on site to help with the elementary and the middle school as well. So feedback from the State Department, we always know that we can always get better, and that's what we're gonna strive to do. So hopefully that kind of gives you some information regarding the RTI and what we're doing moving forward with that.
Great, thanks.
Busy month in STEM.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff, really cool stuff. Miss White on the presidential award, that's really cool.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you've continued the STEM activities through, even through the distance learning. And
Yes.
kids were able to pick up packets, that's great.
Ruben, quick question on the survey that you sent out. You mentioned grade level surveys. Were these grade level sent to your teachers, to your families, to parents? Who was it sent
To families by
To
grade level.
families.
Yeah, we had done one, actually done the exact same survey to all the virtual learners at the beginning of the year, or
Okay.
soon after we had started. This one we decided to break up into grade levels so we get more specific information about changes we can make for that particular grade level. They're very similar, but there might have been some things grade levels were doing a little bit different, and so we wanted it to be specific to them so they have that information. So took the same survey and just broke it up by grade level and sent it to those families individually.
What, how many people did you hear from when you sent out a survey like that? What was your?
Probably about 60% of the families on average.
Okay.
So, we have about 110 families, and we would hear from 65 to 75 parents or families.
Mhm.
Good response rate.
So, yeah, it's pretty good.
And remind me, back when you did, I'm just looking from a participation standpoint, how engaged is our community during all of this? If you're getting survey results like that, back when you did, when we did parent, teacher conferences.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what was our percentage of participation in that?
Yeah, so we did virtual
Mhm.
parent conferences this year, and typically we're at like 96% in the first semester. And we were down about 93% with doing virtual conferences. And I think some of that may have just been, getting connected, but our teachers did a great job of reaching out, trying to make it happen. If they didn't get on, they would call them and reschedule. So it was 93%, which is still pretty good considering all the changes that we had to make. And 93 was a true percentage, and we have some that have two parents that maybe are separated, and that 93% only counts that as one. So that family is represented even though it's two separate meetings. So the number of meetings actually is higher than that, but a little bit down. We want to be 100%, but we're typically 96, 97%. We were at 93% this year.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Fantastic, thanks.
And Mr. Melton, that young man, Mr. Hernandez, that is amazing.
It's exciting.
Congratulations to
Absolutely.
him.
That is an incredible,
fantastic.
once in a lifetime honor for him. Full ride to Notre Dame.
We ever had any, I
Absolutely
feel like we had
amazing.
one
Very
other
impressive.
student, huh? Didn't we have somebody else go? Am I making that up? There was a young lady a few years back.
That is
That's awesome.
fabulous. And I have never heard of Flipgrid.
Oh, me neither.
Sounds very cool though.
So Ruben, how was it today as far as teachers there? Did you have any absent? Did you need subs? How's it looking?
Not many. We had two teachers that we had to cover today, and it was actually mixed reasons. It somewhat related to COVID, not directly, but maybe more indirectly. And I think teachers, my guess is teachers did a pretty good job of keeping themselves isolated for the most part, and I think that's just kudos to them for being ready to come back and knowing that possibility, and only two had to be out today, so I think that's kudos to them, I would say.
That's good. What about kids? Did you have any students out?
I would tell you it's kind of a little bit chaotic right now because we basically have three scenarios playing out. We have students who have been virtual learners, students that now are planning to be full-time virtual learners, and maybe we've heard about it. And then we have some that are just temporary, they wanna do 1 or 2 weeks, which we're okay with. And so we have these 3 groups we're trying to identify, are they long-term, are they short-term, or are they quarantined right now and we just haven't heard about it? And we had all of that kinda coming at us today. And so we're working through that now, we've got lists beginning to form where, okay, who was here, who wasn't, and if they weren't here, we've got them identified as we know their situation, or we don't, and if not, we're calling and kinda trying to figure it out, so. I know we had some that showed up today and, had to immediately go into quarantine, and, but it was not due to exposure here, it was something they found out about from home, and, so that will be, I think, that will settle over the next several days and, maybe a couple weeks, but right now, we're trying to figure out who's where and why. Is it because of, and I got probably about 20 emails of people letting us know, hey, we're gonna wait a week, we're gonna wait 2 weeks, we're waiting for this, but we got a lot more that we didn't hear from, that we're still waiting to find out what's going on, so.
That there was just no contact, I mean, they had no contact, they didn't show today, but we don't know what was there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So on your smart board plan, that's great that we were able to get 10 new.
Yeah, they actually just showed up today,
That's
so,
exciting.
we'll try to get them installed, as soon as we have, rooms without kids, as early as start Wednesday, and see how many we can get, but, yeah, they showed up today, so excited.
That's great, so will it be like 10 per year?
So that's the goal. Our PTO is the major fundraiser behind this, and they do a great job. So they were able to raise enough for 10 smart boards this year. Our goal is over the next 3 years to try to get 10 per year, which would get us covered all throughout. And our ECC was already taken care of prior to this, so they're in a little better shape. But if we get first and second, in fact, we're probably a little ahead of schedule because we got first and second grade taken care of. So if we can get third and fourth grade taken care of next year, that may just leave, 4 or 5 left at the end, so. We're ahead of schedule, and thank you to parents, and thank you to PTO for, helping out with our fundraiser, so. That was our Jogathon fundraiser, is
Yes.
going to that.
That's great. It's good to see the results of that so quickly.
Yes.
Trey, how was middle school today as far as
We had,
teachers and students?
yeah, we had a little tighter issues at the middle school. We had 3 teachers out for various reasons, and none COVID related. And so Christy Esco was able to find 2 subs for 2 parents that had signed up, I think, fairly recently. So we were very thankful for them. She was turned down by 6 subs. And then 2 didn't return phone calls. And so that gives you an idea, about 10 phone calls were made to get those. So we covered 2 of those. We also had 2 aides out for COVID-related things. And luckily only one is coming back tomorrow, but our 3rd aide was in the 8th grade classroom that was covered. And so Ms. Esco was able to move her to that. And then one of our teachers tested positive today as well. And so our special education aide was able to cover those classes. And so all that did was Ms. Williford took lunch duty by herself, and I took recess by myself over here at the high school. And then 7th hour, when our aide had to go to basketball practice, 7th hour advanced computers or computer applications 2 was in the commons. And so that we were able to make things work and made it through the day. So just a little bit of shuffling and doing a little bit different stuff, but that gives you an idea. We had, I don't know the exact number, but I think we're around 6 or 7 kids who are either quarantined because of family issues, and only, we found out 1 today here at school, but it was a direct exposure and she had not tested positive on that. As far as the 3 groups Ruben spoke about was right on what we were doing today as well. We ended our semester, we started out with 37 last year virtual students, and that we had 3 unenroll and do something different. We had 6 go into distance learning, so we had a total of 40 at the end of the semester in December of virtual students. 15 of those chose to come back to AB this semester. And so their families that have reached out to us and said, hey, we're gonna come this week for the first time this year, some of them. But we did have one decide to go full virtual for the rest of the year. And we had 22 decide to stay out and at least for a period of time as we see what January looks like. So our number of virtual students right now is at 48. I would expect, and I think Mark could speak to this, Thursday we'll get more data on that because some of those students we didn't call today because they're doing virtual because of Monday and Tuesday. And so we'll get a new, I'm hoping we get some more of those full-time virtual kids to come back, and then I'm okay with more of the wait and see group, and then hopefully we'll have that group come back as well here in a couple weeks, and we'll have a greater percentage here on campus so we can have our eyes on them all the time. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
It makes 5-day a week, once we get back to school every day.
Sure.
It's gonna be a cakewalk.
You're gonna do it all that time.
Looks a little bit
Yeah, I
different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trey, like Ruben had sent out a survey to the families, did you have a chance to reach out to your families too?
We didn't
get
send
an
out a
idea?
survey when we switched out to 100% virtual. We had the opportunity to get feedback from teachers or from families during parent-teacher conferences and things because we already had a large component of virtual being AB. And so I was, Mark and I discussed that and talked about, we had already gotten a number of feedback and we're making adjustments at the time. We did receive obviously some more at that point, and we've been making adjustments all semester. And so that's kind of why we went a different route.
Thank you.
And how are things with the high school?
We had everything covered today. We did have one teacher that was gone, wasn't COVID related. We had 7 or 8 kids that weren't here due to COVID related, things happening over the break, either having a positive case or, being quarantined due to exposure. Everything went smoothly. We did have a positive exposure this morning, which led to a little bit of contact tracing. So there were 5 students that were impacted just through the exposure on the positive that occurred. And like Trey and Ruben both said, our distance learning numbers have stayed pretty steady at around 50 with full-time distance learners, and we got 40 communications, so we're at about 90, but the 40 are just kind of a wait and see. We're just gonna wait and see kind of what happens with the numbers, etc.
Thank you.
Well, thank y'all for all that you're doing, and I know it's a lot. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right, let's move on to item number 5, discussion and possible action to approve or not to approve fiscal year 22 Oklahoma School Pictures contract for photographic services for the elementary, middle school, and high school.
Just a quick clarification on this contract. It's for this next year, correct? 21-20. There's a dot between the two of them, so for the year that applies, I assume it's 21-22, is that right?
Because the dates are fall dates.
Yes, I don't know why the other circles did not print, but there were circles like after. So yes, it would be 21-22.
21-22. And then the underclass commission, 35 slash 25, is that fall commission? Spring commission, what's that? What does that mean? Does anyone know? Do we make money off those pictures, I guess is what I'm saying?
We do.
Like,
Yeah. Goes into our
activity funds. I'm not positive on the percentage of the split like that. My assumption is that's probably correct, that spring is less
Spring and then- or
because
fall and then
there's less
spring.
participation in the spring, is my guess.
And this is who we've used for the last few years.
Yeah.
This is the same group that provides the ID and the machines at the doors, right, or we bought them, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Move approval of item 5.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Marquez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
Pettit?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Okay, item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve or not to approve the assignment and consent to assignment agreement among the Board of Trustees of the Teachers Retirement System of Oklahoma, Bethany Public Schools, and Voya Retirement Insurance and Annuity Company, Voya Financial Partners LLC, and Voya Institutional Trust Company, collectively Voya.
I mean, I doubt you, that makes a whole lot of sense to you. It didn't to me either. So I'm gonna let Jennifer explain it to you. She'll do a better job than I will because it's kind of convoluted.
So, we received a letter, or an email letter, back at the beginning of November from Teachers Retirement, telling us that effective August 2nd, 2018, the legislature amended one of the Oklahoma statutes that authorized Teacher Retirement System to terminate this particular 403B program. So in doing that, they have picked, Teachers Retirement has chosen Voya, which goes by all of those other names as well, to maintain that 403B plan as is for a minimum of 2 years from whenever your plan year begins after the effective date, which is January 29th, 2021. So as of January 29th, OTRS is terminating and will have no more to do with it. So when we got it, we only received the email if you have participating employees in the plan. So we do. So we have to do something. So our options, we started with AF PlanServe, which is part of American Fidelity and our third-party administrator on all of our investment options right now. We still don't have an answer from them. It appears that they're not wanting to take this on. So they are trying to, basically they're telling us we can't sign the paperwork. I've talked to Andy, the attorney, I've talked to Julie Miller at OSSBA. By law, we have to, because the plan's terminating, we don't really have a choice. So we spoke with David Whaley at Voya, who basically is who Teachers Retirement just kind of washed their hands of it and said, if you have questions, call Voya, we're done, which is not helpful either. So we've talked to David, I've talked to him a couple of times on the phone. I had a Zoom, Delane and I Zoomed with one of the local reps here, because he's not in Oklahoma, and kind of talked to her about the plan and how it works and proceeding forward with it if that's what we need to do. In my opinion, it's a much better investment plan. We spoke to one of our employees that does have it. If she could, she would put all her money into it that she has in various investments right now. So I think AF PlanServe isn't excited about taking it on because it's gonna compete with what they're offering, is the best that I can come up with. So I talked to Andy back and forth last week and just said, you know, I think we should go ahead and ask for your approval tonight, sign the forms. I'm gonna hang on to them until we get closer to that January 29th deadline. I know it's just a couple weeks. Hopefully AF PlanServe will get back to us with a good answer saying that they'll allow this under our blanket that we have right now. They've agreed to let districts who already had OTRS listed to change over to Voya. We didn't have them listed. So I don't know why they won't just let us add it, but that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully in February we come back and we're asking you to approve an amended version of our agreement with AF PlanServe to include this. That this is the best option right now. And Andy agreed. He said we're not, you know, there's nothing that's going against our current agreement with AF PlanServe. We're not breaking any laws by doing it. They're telling us we have to. So this is the best option right now.
So Jennifer, how many employees do we have?
One.
Just, okay, and we have to do something with that,
Yes.
yeah, okay. All right.
Any questions on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I didn't do that.
But this only affects one employee?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, we actually had 2 listed and 1 no longer works here. So that was an easy, they had to talk to their current district
Okay.
about it. So we have.
Is
one.
this the same company that Josh Delozer got the grant from, or am I thinking of one that sounds similar?
That was it.
Is it Voya? And we do have other employees that contribute to Voya's plans that are different than this 403B, and AF Plan Serve has approved all of that. So it's just this specific plan that they will not approve right now.
From me.
For Voya. Mhm.
Yeah.
Move approval item six.
Second.
Roll call vote. Marquez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
Pettit?
Yes.
Wallstad?
Yes.
Is the Vernon Florence on that the same school finance guy that gives the speeches at OSSBA about school finance?
It
Yes.
is.
Yeah, I've drunk a lot of coffee through his sessions. Well, he does a good job, but I wondered if that was the same guy.
Incredibly knowledgeable.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
I can start forwarding you his emails.
Talking about
Oh, I just summarize it all.
Yeah.
No, he's very knowledgeable.
Okay, let's move on to item number 7, discussion possible action to approve or not approve a decision matrix to be used by administration to determine a change in learning format if necessary. And this is just bringing up, I believe, the final version I wanted to vote on.
Those are just colored ones. You've got the black and white
Right.
in the back, but I thought I would give you guys.
Thank you.
You guys,
You don't have one?
Steve, would you like one?
Absolutely.
These back here great papers, instead of paying attention to
Well,
them.
start with Bethany.
Wow. You're doing the crosswords?
Yes.
Oh. How is it? New York Times worthy?
No. Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Okay, Mr. Drummond made the changes, and Lisa Tackett made the changes that you guys requested last time. It's a pretty straightforward thing. It's easy to put in, but it's not particularly easy to get all the data. So we agreed that we would pull the data on Wednesday. I would get that information to you, and then on Thursday, we'd send out the letter to the parents. That's self-imposed, that's what we agreed to, so if you wanna change that, we can do it whenever. The issue then becomes OSSBA doesn't provide the data, they do a midweek less thanks, is that true?
Yeah.
And with kind of is it a guesstimation of what the 7-day will be, or is it just based on?
They put up how many days since the last reported. And then they give you what that is now, how many it would take for you to remain in ed, or in red.
Right.
Out there in that column. Don't you guys all get those on Wednesday? They did the last 3-4 weeks of December.
I haven't, for some reason, I'm not getting the midweek, but I will, cause I'll call them. But, Jim's working on a plan. We found, I talked to Courtney last night, I talked to, Les last night about where we can get the data. So we can get the data off the state health department's website, and they do it every day. I don't know what time do you know, Courtney, what time they put it up, either one of you? or anybody?
It's
I thought it was like,
approximately midday,
Yeah.
but sometimes it can be as early as like 10 a.m.
Okay.
yeah, I was
So-
gonna say, it's usually like between 10 and 1,
Yeah.
somewhere in that window.
So we're at the mercy of when they load that, so that gives us a daily thing, and then we have to convert that to the 7-day average, and it takes somebody that knows some stuff, like Les started talking about it, he knows what he's talking about. He lost me about halfway through it, I said, whoa, I think we'll let Jim do this. So anyway, we think, when I talked to Jim today, he said, I think I can do it, I can't tell you for sure that I can do it yet, I haven't done it. It's gonna take some work, but there's no better guy. I said, Jim, all I care about is I want it to be accurate as if we waited on the information on Friday. The other option, the kind of plan B, as Courtney and I talked about, is if we can't make this work, we can't get the data to line up the way it needs to in order to get good, accurate data. We can wait until Friday, so we get it from OSSBA, and then instead of saying, well, you only have 2 days and we're gonna start on Monday, we would say to parents, we're gonna wait till X number of days into the following week, maybe the whole week, maybe end up giving them 2 weekends. I don't know, that's something that you guys, you'll have to tell me. We can make just about anything happen. We just have to know what you want us to do, and we're happy to do it. The data thing, one way or the other, we will get it to work. If Jim can do it accurately, we'll do it that way. And we'll get it out on Wednesday to you, Thursday to the parents, to start again on Monday. Hopefully, we won't have to change how we're doing this. But I also want to remind you that we agreed that I'll just email it out to you if there's no change expected. If there's a change expected at one of the sites, I will call you, and we'll talk through that, and I'll get your, all the feedback, and then, if, ultimately, if we wanted to have a special meeting, it's 48 hours, right? So it depends on when we decided that, whether we could get it in, before, we can have one on Saturday, so it would just, we have to have 48.
You'd have to have that in by like Wednesday PM.
Wednesday what time?
It's 48 hours excluding holidays and weekends, so you really couldn't count Saturday time, you could only count.
So Thursday and Friday, so if we got it by the end of the day before 5 o'clock on Wednesday, then we could have one on Friday,
Friday or
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
So, my thinking with Drew, when we talked yesterday, was that if we could, the formula is to figure out the numbers, you just have to do that once. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to figure out the formula once, and then after that, hopefully it's just an auto populate, like on an Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly.
So even like somebody like me could go in and just pull the numbers and plug them in and then let the spreadsheet calculate it. So I just told Drew my preference. I said we should probably work towards that rather than doing the plan B, which is like waiting till Friday and then having, like, I just feel like doing it midweek is, I don't know, it just feels wonky. And then if you run the numbers Friday, but you wait till the numbers can change in a week, I don't know, it just felt a little, it's imperfect. So that was my recommendation, was if we could try to just get the formulas knocked out in the first round. I know that's kind of difficult, but once you do that, hopefully it wouldn't take long to do it afterwards.
Because really the only thing that changes is your population number.
Right.
If that was to change, but it's not going to, because they're basing it on.
Yeah, we're using the same
Right.
population
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
That's pretty straightforward. So I don't know how familiar Jim is with Excel, but I do know a CPA.
Sounds like you're getting recruited.
And I would guess that in a pinch, he would help us out. So, we're gonna keep working on that. Our intent is to be ready to get something out to you on Wednesday, day after tomorrow. And, you know, I'll just communicate with you if we're struggling to get that done, but, I would like to do what we say we're gonna do. If we tell our parents that we're gonna have something out on Thursday, I wanna get it out on Thursday. And, so I think that covers everything here, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So the only edits to this from the last time we met was really just the grid and how many green and how many red.
Right.
So it
Well,
weighted it.
That's mostly true. Remember we talked about talking to Ruben about whether he wanted to use the hospital
Right.
surge, and he said, yes, he did. So we
Oh,
did
okay.
leave that alone, so
Right.
that was the other variable, but we didn't change it. So the grid is what changed. I think moving that up, that red off is gonna take some serious pressure off of us.
Well, it weights it. I
Yes.
mean, that was my concern there, was just weighting
It
the
weights it.
school numbers heavier, and that takes care of that, so.
If we had moved that up, it was gonna be tough to stay in school all the time. I think we have a shot. I can't tell you, I mean, Trey's like, oh my God, what are you talking about, man? I nearly died today.
We made it, we're doing.
What do you mean by that? I mean, nearly died today, just coverage?
He just had a lot of, he was
And that's my
struggling.
concern with the substitute thing, is that that's where we're gonna get hammered on this deal. We're gonna get hit there. We're not gonna have coverage.
That's the challenge. That is probably the biggest challenge, because, you know, ultimately, we can make all this work, no matter what the numbers are out there in the world, the hospital, the surge plan, how many people are per 100,000. We can make all of it work, except the sub stuff. We've gotta be able to cover our classes. We've gotta be able, and I promise you, if it can be done, those three guys there will take care of it. And
Well, I
they
mean,
did
the fact that it
they
took
did.
10 phone calls to get 2 people to come in, I mean,
Well,
that's-
and
concerning.
Mr.
lot.
Rockberger said, you know, I was probably a teacher away from you guys, you two getting an email, because the last board meeting. But
Yeah,
I
mean,
signed up today,
That's
though.
right, but that, we knew where we were at, and not always do our aides are, you know, that was a perfect storm, hopefully, and we're gonna do the best we can, but again, 10 phone calls, and I hope, if a sub is watching, it wasn't a no, take me off the list, it was
Right,
a, hey,
right.
today doesn't work for
Doesn't
us.
work.
And
I
so,
would- yeah.
and then some of ours could have been in Mr. Bellows' building, or, because some of those,
Right.
they share, and so, it is what it is, and
Yep.
we were able to make it through today.
We had 2 subs that we were expecting to use that were new signups, that when they got right down to it, said, we wanna wait till we get the vaccine. You can't blame them. I mean, they're dealing with their older people. So we'll get those people back.
Right.
We had 2 parents who were sent me emails not wanting to be out of school. I mean, you know, they were polite and professional, but they were, you know, on that end, that did what they said they would do and came today and saved his bacon, because those 2 were the 2 that kept us going at the middle school. So what I'm saying is, I'm proud of our parents. They're stepping up. We will have more step up, I believe, over time. We are looking at creative ways to cover those classes, and we'll continue to do so. You know, the fact that Trey called me, or I don't remember if it was a call or a text last night, but we communicated last night about, he knew this was coming. He didn't know it was gonna get as bad as it was, because we didn't know that we were gonna lose another teacher. But we knew that it was gonna be tight. And he said, at the end of that conversation, I got it, don't worry about it. So I did. And look, that's fine. So I'm glad we're doing what we're doing. I wish that it gives parents who don't wanna be in, we're giving them lots of flexibility to come back when they feel comfortable. That's a good thing. We've got lots of parents who want us in, and we're in. We're at least in 2 days a week. We're not in 5 days. We'll get there. I promise you, we're coming back 5 days a week, everybody. There will be a time. We're not gonna do AB forever. So we've got the only thing, the thing that is, I don't know what to do about, is teachers don't have a choice. We gotta have them here. And so, you know, we've had a couple that have said, you know, what are my options? And I said, if you get a doctor's note that says, you know, the doctor recommends you not be in school, then you can absolutely be out of school. Other than that, we need you to be here. And our teachers are stepping up. Again, these were just people asking about their options. They're not saying, I'm not coming. Matter of fact, they all came, except the ones you know that had something else. Nobody didn't come to school because they didn't have, because they didn't think it was safe. But it's human nature to be nervous about those things. If you're 60 years old or you're 50 years old, and you've got, you know, some underlying health issues, it's not a bad thing. So I support those teachers 100%. We're gonna do everything we can. Jennifer sent out an email today that said, any PPE that you want, we've got. If we don't have it, we'll order it and get it for you. So,
What would be examples of stuff that you might wanna order for someone that they might request? I'm just curious.
well.
Plexiglass for the, you know, in front of their desk, or what do we?
We've ordered a little bit of plexiglass. We wouldn't order one for all the individual desk, but we might, if a teacher said, I'm here at my desk a lot and a piece of plexiglass would make me feel better, we get it for them.
If we were proactive and offered that up to them, would it
Yeah,
make
we-
some of them more comfortable?
We've told all of our teachers, you guys tell them from around the room, we've told all of our teachers, we'll get you whatever you want. We said that back in August.
Yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah.
Can
So-
you still get, can we get N95s?
We have some.
I think we have some, and I think that they're out there as compared to last spring when it was really hard to get. The thing about N95 is this, they're really hard to breathe in. If you haven't used one or been in one, when people, the sheen wears off of it once you put it on. Cause they're thick, it's hard to
work.
breathe. It's not, but no bad stuff's coming out. In or out. So, I say, that was a long way of saying, I feel good about where we are. We will have, I think I told Trey this on the way home today, we will have bumps. We're gonna have stuff we don't even know that we've got problems. That's okay, well, that's what we do, that's what you guys pay us to do, is work through these issues, and we will. And I can promise you that we won't close school unless we can't cover it safely for kids. And that's gonna be after doing everything we know to do.
And I wouldn't stop advertising, like one email probably isn't gonna do it, 2 emails probably isn't gonna do it, you know, what's that old saying in advertising, you have to hit them like 10 times, cause
What?
people forget or whatever,
I
but
did
yeah.
want to tell you that last night in my conversation with Trey, I said, you can call Heather Miller. I'm not joking. I'll give you her number. And I said, you can call Angela. Now, I know you have to take off and it might
I'm
not be the
available on
next day.
Wednesdays.
But
Yes, I can.
I bet you she would help us out in the bind.
I would. I'll be back in the classroom this semester, but,
Oh, are you?
Tuesday, Thursdays, yeah, but I could come.
And we did get another one today, so there is movement.
Yeah.
And it's probably just, as it always is with subs, it's a day-by-day thing, just depending on
Schedule
availability.
What
and
makes
some
it
of the-
tough is, you know, if it's COVID-related absence, you know, whether it's quarantine or whether it's sick, is it 7 days? I mean, it could be a 7-day
Yeah, yeah.
type thing.
I know, I personally had emails from several parents who are trying to figure out how that would work and could they do it for a day? And they were like, well, are we committed for 7 days if it's a COVID? No, you're not. Yeah, we'd love to have the same sub in there
Yeah.
for 7 days,
That'd
but
be awesome.
if we have to have 7 different subs in 7 days to make it work, we will do that. So, I have faith in this community. I have faith in those guys and gals over there. And I think we will make this work. I'm not saying that we will never have to close one of the sites. I will be disappointed if we do. But it won't be from lack of trying.
No.
So we can go ahead and vote to approve this, and then what we still have to work out is the timing and that
Yeah,
piece
and I
on the
don't think-
data, but
And
that's
that's not
not
in here.
part of
Well,
this,
yeah,
so.
you know, that's
We're not
really,
gonna-
This is strictly the tool.
Right.
And this version of it, so.
yeah. That's what I think we should do. I think you should vote to approve this version. Now, we've got the thing here at the bottom.
The data.
What you call that, by the way? You said
It's for version control.
version control.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool. I like it.
You got a lot of people putting hands on documents.
So,
Yeah.
we do that, and then Jim and I will continue to work on how and when we get the data. I'll keep you guys up to date on that. Won't be long, because we said we get that out to you on Wednesday, and that's in 2 days, so we don't have a lot of time. Jim does have a day job, and so he's got some stuff that he's gotta do, but he's been very good. Lisa's less, she wants to help, but she's teaching 6 hours a day, right? So, you know, that's a challenge. But, Jim's been helping a lot. So, that's what I suggest.
All right, can we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 7.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Marquez,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Pettit,
Yes.
Walstach.
Yes.
All right, do we
Thank
need to
you.
go into executive session?
You know, not really, unless somebody has a major issue, I can explain to you. Adam's right here. It's all public knowledge, so I'm happy to speak on this and then let you answer questions. And if we get into an area where we don't feel comfortable, then we'll just stop and go next door. So I talked to Angela, and one of the things that we really should have been doing all along is live streaming our board meetings. So it's just a service that we provide to we want our parents, our community to be engaged. We'll offer them opportunities to be engaged.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of those is a live streaming, and we'll put that link up there. And so I talked to Angela about it, and we're going to, we asked Adam, I asked Adam, what would it take? How much time do you spend doing this? How much time outside of school? You also have to remember that if he does something in school, it's not like, well, we already pay him for that. He's got a full-time job. He's doing, a full-time. So when he adds stuff, and some of it can be done in school, it's just more stress for him. But he has to be here before. Are you here an hour before, 30 minutes before to set up?
About an hour.
Yeah. And then, so he sets it all up. You gotta have the expertise. It's not like we're paying a novice here. If we want this to come off professionally, we want a professional to do it. So I said to Adam, what would it take for you to do regular and special board meetings year-round? This is summer. He doesn't work in the summer, but he comes up in the summer. If we have a special board meeting, now, on our bond issues where we do, we just come in and we vote the bond and we go away, I don't know that we need to have those. If you guys tell me we do, then absolutely we do. But sometimes those are 5 minutes. It's not worth everything that we need. But Adam said $1,500 for the time he does on the front side, time he does on the back side, also what he does on the website to put it up. Adam, we record these, true or no?
Yes.
Okay, so where are those housed? On the website?
YouTube, but there's
YouTube.
a YouTube link on the website, yeah.
Okay, so we can, then a parent who can't be here at 6 o'clock on Monday night, or can't be on their computer, can still see the whole thing in its entirety any day of the week, 24 hours a day. I think that's the right thing to do. I think that Adam's willingness to do it for $1,500 is a godsend. You couldn't get somebody, you couldn't get United Systems to come in and do it for $1,500.
No.
So, my recommendation is that we give him, now, here's the thing that I need your help with. We can prorate that 1,500 for the number of months that he's done between now and June 30th, whenever he stops. He had to do a lot of extra work just to get everything put together. I would have no problem with giving him the full 1,500 this year and then 1,500 every year. He's working out all the bugs. But if you guys think, oh no, I think we just need to prorate it, I'm okay with that too. He is too, either way. He's doing us a favor by even taking it on. Remember, he's a coach and all the 19 other things that he does. And so the fact that he's willing to take this on is helpful. And any time that he can't be here because of sickness or personal reasons, or he's got a ball game, he's gonna have somebody, he's gonna set it all up and have somebody take care of. So really it's a turnkey operation. And that's what we're looking for. I want it to come up. I want what I know you want, and it's to look professional and be easy for our parents to access. So I'm open to however you want to do that on the this year thing, but moving forward, it'll be 1,500 for the year.
Have we asked, and this is relate pertaining, but Andy, about, is there any particular requirements on having the live stream, posting the live stream?
I did talk to Andy. I talked to Andy about this, and he said, no, people do it, we did it in PC for years, and we use the same system that he's using with YouTube. So, I'm hopeful that the legislature will allow us to do some virtual stuff and that we can still record, do all the things that we're doing. But if things get bad, or, we have a situation where, right now, I can be on, I can be at home. Cassie can be at home, but you guys have to be here, no matter what. That's not right. What if, if it's where you can be on the phone, but you can't vote? It needs to be where you can be wherever you are in the world, and you can still vote the way you want to, how you vote. So, that's what I think. Do you have a question?
No, I'm certainly in support. I'm glad that we are doing this. I love the participation that we are getting from our community, and to be able to have another means to be able to provide them an archive of it to go back and take a look at it. I think it's great. I would add that another way to continue to get the community involved is to, at our regular board meetings, to have public comments. And so I feel like that's something that, as you mentioned, you like to see people get involved. You've enjoyed, we've all said we like the emails from folks, and people are gonna do that regardless. But to have that available for them to provide public comments, I think is something that is worthwhile as well.
Yeah, that is completely up to this board. All you guys tell us that's what you wanna do, you guys have the conversation, whatever you wanna do. But if you guys talk about that, unless you wanna talk about it right here, we're really kinda off.
No,
Yeah, I don't think
that's
we can talk about it
Uh,
right now.
Just visit with Angela about that. All she has to do is tell me, yeah, we're doing that. No, we're not. We're doing it every other time. But you guys have that conversation. I work for the board, so I will do whatever you ask me to do.
Well, for the item then, I mean, we're just approving this through FY '21, so we can always reassess in June, so.
That's correct.
I vote to approve item 8A.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Marquez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
Pettit?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Information items, look like we have some basketball games coming up, board appreciation. So it seems like, did I see that we lost a team and maybe on the basketball? Not
We
really
lost-
maybe
we lost two
we
teams.
anticipated.
We lost two in the Bethany Classic, and that's what's caused the slow going back to get the, tournament bracket set up. He has that done, and I saw it in my email, I just haven't forwarded it to you guys, I'll do it tonight or in the morning. But we're at 6 teams. We had, John does a great job, as you all know. He had a situation, so Jones plays in our tournament, and we play in Jones's tournament later. And we had a situation where we were gonna be able to play, they were gonna play their games at Jones, and we were gonna play all the other games here, and then we were gonna play our Jones tournament game. But because we only have 6 teams, we hardly have enough, we don't have enough to bother. So it'll be fine, we're playing them all here. So that's the plan. That'll start Thursday, and,
Who dropped? Who dropped?
I do not know, he didn't tell me who, do you know?
No,
Yeah, he didn't tell me.
One of the Harding teams.
One of the Harding?
Mm.
One of them is a quarantine thing, I don't know if
Quarantine,
that's
yeah.
them, and then I don't know the other one, but that's that.
And then board appreciation night, January 26th.
Yes, so I'll give you more information as we figure, my plan right now, having not talked to John, in depth about it, is we'll do what we've always done, be at halftime of the boys' game. But if I find out from you guys that somebody really needs it to be the girls' game, you know, halftime, we could probably make that work, but I need to know, because we have stuff set up in both halftimes. So right now, it's halftime of the boys. And what I'll do is, when we know exactly when we think that's gonna be,
You let us know.
I will let you know when we think it, what time, and then I can, like, with, Courtney, she's over at the house and says, text me 10 minutes before. I text her, she comes over. You guys are here or not, and if you can't, the main thing is, if you can't be there, it's okay. Just let me know, so we're not, you know, waiting. Okay.
Anybody have any comments?
Just to thank you for the work, for, you know, trying to make it work to come back to some in-person learning. I know that's a lot of work. Lots and lots of work, so. And thank you to the people who volunteered to be subs.
Yeah.
Thank you in advance, Heather. Don't laugh too hard, you're helping me with the Excel.
Just don't
Everybody's
be
got a
like,
piece of
put
this
it there,
pie.
milk cartons and graham crackers and stuff, like, I can't,
Yeah. Now she's gonna qualify it,
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny.
Okay, so Shelley Whiting is the manager of Mercy in Schools, part of Mercy Health. She wrote the following email to our high school art teacher, Michelle Healy. Now, this is not the whole email, this is just a piece of it that I wanted you to hear. This is Shelley speaking. I want to share with you that I've received over 1,100 pieces of artworks from students in our partner schools from Mercy in Schools. Recent request. That is an amazing, and the work's heartfelt and meaningful. I started putting up pieces in the hospitals last week, and as I was putting up the artwork, patients and workers stopped and looked and said things like, "Ooh, they really care. How sweet. These things, this makes my day. I think I'm going to cry. Thank you for reminding us that what everyone does care. What an amazing connection and a happy pause in their day. Thank you for taking time." So that's pretty cool that our kids are making that kind of an impact on people who have, in some cases, the weight of the world on their shoulders, you know? So that's pretty cool. January is Board Appreciation Month. As elected officials, board members are the voice of the community, serving first and foremost in the best interest of school children. School board members must make tough decisions on complex, does that sound familiar at all? Tough decisions.
Keep talking. Complex.
On complex educational, social issues impacting the entire community. Their service ensures that decisions made about the schools are made with those most familiar with the needs of the community, children, and families. Our board members are education advocates. They provide vision and leadership for our schools. Bethany Schools will show its appreciation for our board at halftime of the high school board basketball game on January 26th. For the students, staff, administration, and patrons, I want to say to all of you, thank you for your service to this district. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Roll call vote, please.
Marquez?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
Pettit?
Yes.
Walstad?
Yes.